Welcome to the Midnight Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, alongside my fellow co-host, Tyler Sinden. We are both entrepreneurs who are learning, growing, and building our own businesses, and our goal is to share our experience and knowledge to help you grow and become a successful entrepreneur. Strap in. Tyler, what's up? We're back. We're filming another episode. We're getting after it.
Yes, we are. Not too much over here. I just got... North. Yeah, it's very white up here right now. Not really, but it's funny. Someone just reached out to me, they're like, I saw your drop shipping videos on YouTube. We'd like to sponsor a video. And I think they said they emailed me too. And I think I probably just deleted it because it looked like spam. And then I saw it on Instagram and I'm like, this is getting deleted. I'm not a sellout.
Yeah.
The video's going to drop next week though.
Like, I'll do it. What do you want? Just tell me what you want and I'll do it. I'll film it. I have no morals when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No, yeah. I think it's just like a website that promotes finding products.
Oh, gotcha.
I just deleted it. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It's funny because I actually saw someone that I met through YouTube. I think they did a video on the exact same website. So I think they're going through reaching out to people that made some drop shipping videos.
They're just doing them all.
Pretty much, yeah. And also we got some stuff planned for our business coming up in the month of November. I can't grow a great beard, but I'm just growing it out before November because we're going to be shaving. So nice fresh shave.
No shave November.
Yes, sir. We're doing Movember. So we got some plans for that, and hopefully they go well. We're going to be running like a little promotion where 100% of our profits will go towards Movember. So we're going to hopefully try to create some promotion, create some, excitement around the brand, and
buzz.
hopefully we can get some donations there.
Yeah, no, that's pretty sweet. I do Movember every single year, where you just go with the old muzzy, and I honestly forgot about that, but
Greasy.
I was gonna trim up. But now I better leave it.
Do you go fresh or do you give yourself a head start?
Oh, I just go the mustache on my face and ride with it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. Lots of rides.
Oh, yeah. I'm not the one riding, but others, perhaps.
I'm going to be going, we're going to be shaving fresh. That's why I'm growing it out. I told him to grow it out. So We'll see. I'm going to be meeting with him tomorrow. So we're going to be shaving the day before, and that's going to be somewhat the intro video. And then we're going to try our best to post TikToks and try and, create some buzz there.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. It almost reminds me
that's
that
one
plan.
Time
you FaceTime me and your head was smooth as a bowling ball. And I didn't look at the camera right away. I didn't look at the camera.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch and I looked. I was like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, that was during the process. Yeah, that was a good times. Good times.
I've thought about shaving my head before, but I just don't want to see how my bald head looks, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I think it's a little different. I for me, I always just think it's gonna grow back eventually. So it's like, might as well try it, see what I look like, and so I tried it out because hair grows back.
Yeah, I'll be there
for the most part.
So I don't need a head start on the baldness because I'm just gonna enjoy the hair while I got it. Enjoy the hair while I got it.
That's what I heard a lot when people said that are like, if you have hair, don't use it. I think there's a Seinfeld episode where George talks about it like that.
Are you a big Seinfeld guy? I've honestly never seen one episode.
Oh man, Seinfeld's hilarious. And The Office, man, you're missing out.
See, The Office a little too cheesy for me, but I could maybe get into Seinfeld unless they're too similar. But I'll give her a stab.
I don't think they're that similar, but they're both funny shows.
Perfect. I listen to this podcast, Nateland, and they always make a Seinfeld reference or talk about Seinfeld somehow. So,
so there's rumors. I don't think it's actually true that Seinfeld's about nothing. It's a show about nothing, but the underlying show is about kind of a day in a life of a comedian, how he comes up with his stuff, how he comes up with his scripts. And a lot of the times it'll start off with one of his stand-up routines and he'll be talking to say what's the deal with airlines? And then the show is kind of about airlines. So I think that's what the premise of the show is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's really relatable.
Yeah, and I've always heard that Jerry Seinfeld's comedy is very relatable and it's personable to everybody's day-to-day experience. So I'll dive into it. I'll give her a shot. I got too many shows on the docket right now. I'm watching the D'Amelio show. Love
like
that.
Charlie and them?
Oh yeah, and Dixie. And
oh my God, why? Why? What are you doing with your life?
I love it. I just love seeing
Jeez.
these young people just walk into fame and how they handle it.
Jeez, that's wild.
Yeah,
I can't believe, man.
That and Peaky Blinders. So definitely on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, very much so.
But
I can't believe you watched that, but not The Office.
I know. I've been really into movies lately. So
yeah,
I watched The Imitation Game last night. You seen it? It's about breaking.
Yeah, that's like the old.
Code.
Yeah. Wait, I'm thinking of two different ones. It's the one where it's like back in the old days, like 1900s or something.
It's World War II, and they have to break the Nazis' code, Enigma.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But yeah, been into movies lately. The short film that I was supposed to be shooting on Monday. Right. We pushed that back to tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We film these on Thursdays. So we pushed that back to tomorrow because our main actress was unaware. It's her first time acting, so I don't blame her for doing this, but she was unaware of how much time it's going to take to film. So she had to make arrangements, and now she's good for Friday to film as long as we want. And then Saturday, probably going to a little Halloween party. And then, Sunday we're back to the podcast, back to working, and go from there. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got on my end for new. I guess I got a couple new tattoos. There's one, King 10.
Did you?
Poker hand right there.
I can't see it. You're like off camera.
Oh yeah, geez. FaceTime.
Where's it at?
Right
jeez.
Now
I'm.
And then right here,
yeah.
Can you see that one?
Yeah, I can see that. Flexing the bicep. Oh no, I can't see it. I don't see an airplane. I don't know what. I don't know.
Bicep, yeah,
this is amazing. This is amazing podcast content.
Flying out of my shirt. But yeah, that's what's new with me. I got tattoos, airplanes, poker cards. Nothing related to business, but hey, it's fun. It's fun. Actually,
you know what's funny? I actually. Okay, go for it.
I was gonna say business related since the tattoo thing.
Yeah.
I talked about this when I was interviewing someone else on my business podcast, the other one, and I walked into this business place. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this because now they know what it is, but they were just so standoffish, and they didn't greet me when I walked in the door. It was super weird, and that made me think if I ever ran a brick and mortar business where people had to come in, that's the first thing I'd be doing is making people feel welcome at the door. I was a little upset by it, but what do you think?
Simple,
right? Just say hey.
I think it stems down from the top.
It does.
It's
leadership.
Yeah, it's so simple, and it has a huge impact. And I don't know. Maybe some people just don't realize it.
Bunch of freaking pieces of shit. I tell you what, I was upset about it.
Yeah.
What do you do? What were you gonna say though?
At first I thought that was a Bud Light, but yeah, my buddy actually just asked me if you were a Detroit Lions fan because you were repping the Amon-Ra St. Brown sweater last episode.
Nope, just an Amon-Ra St. Brown fan. That's all. And then you got conkied. I lost my fantasy football last week, but it's all right. This week we're rocking my alma mater. Is that what it's called? Is that the proper word?
Alma mater.
Alma mater. Monaheim Magicians. I was not there in 2003 and 2004, but I was there at one point in my life. It's actually
the retro jersey then.
Yeah, it's actually my work clothes. I'm sponsoring one of my clients, X Golf. See, we got all the promotions on today. Pepsi, Wild Cherry, they're not sponsoring this episode, but if they want to.
Unfortunately not.
We've got more episodes coming up. So if Pepsi wants to sponsor, then awesome.
I was actually thinking about that with sponsorships because the person that reached out to me to do the video for their brand or company, I don't think I would. I don't know. I think it's just morals that I wouldn't take a brand deal from a company that I don't personally use. I get that they're going to pay you. And then I was trying to think of what companies I would actually allow me to sponsor me because I use their products every single day. And one of the main and only ones I came up with was Apple. I'm like, man, if they wanted to give me free shit, sign me up. But I was trying to think of other stuff. Apple. I couldn't think of anything else. Yeah.
Apple's the first
I was like, Sony, I'll take Sony stuff. I don't know what else though.
I'd probably take our family cheese. I have a lot of cheese.
I had no idea. So our family's the cheese brand.
Well, it's just like the cheap Walmart brand. It's not from Walmart, but it's kind of like the knockoff. I'm not getting Kraft, right? Not worth it. But Well, if Kraft wants to sponsor me, awesome.
Big cheese guy.
Yeah, I mean, well, I love nachos, and I'll live by that. You just a couple chips, throw some cheese on there. Bob's your uncle.
There you go.
Got a
You're
great
set.
snack. I probably have more
There you go.
nachos than most of the people in the city I live in.
Jeez. What about Dots?
Dots pretzels or Dots the candy?
Yeah. Dots pretzels.
See, I eat Dots pretzels. If they want to sponsor, I'd definitely do that. I actually had to
Didn't
think
you
about
just
this.
have her on?
Nope.
Oh, different.
Tease
different
Tangles. Tease Tangles was on. So she's got pretzels, but they're not Dots pretzels. But I had to have the same internal conversation because we had our first sponsor on the other podcast, Midco, and I got to thinking. Obviously, I'm a Midco user. I have their highest internet service I can get, just so I can, work. But if someone was like SRT was to reach out to me, I probably couldn't take that sponsorship. You know what I mean? I don't use SRT. Or I'd say, okay, I'm going to have to switch to SRT, and then we can do the sponsorship. But yeah, I had that dilemma in my head thinking about, well, if SRT was to reach out to me, what would I say? Obviously, it didn't work out that way. Midco did, but yeah, this is something I had to think about.
Yeah. How'd that sponsorship go?
Good. We're 2 episodes in.
With your first one? 2?
Yeah.
Oh, 2.
Yep. So this week was the second one. We've got 12 of them. I sent them the link. I haven't heard anything back. I sent it yesterday. But the first one, the first ad read was a little, I don't know, I've never done an ad read before, so it was a little goofy. But second one.
Did you do it like mid-roll or
Yep.
at the beginning?
It was
mid-roll?
about 15 minutes into the episode. I just took a break and said, Midco sponsoring the episode. They gave me a little script I had to read, and then just kind of a couple sentences on my experience with them and the service that I have. And then thanked them and went on with the show. So, I mean, it's pretty simple,
Cool.
but the first time I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, gosh, I got to read this script. It's easier the more you do it, I think.
Yeah, just like this episode, or not this episode, this podcast with your intro and outro.
Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking before, because I wasn't going to screenshot it, and I was trying to read it back in my head. I'm like, God, I think I have it, but I didn't have the second half. So I'll memorize the second half, and then we won't even need it at all.
Within a few years.
Well, exactly. But we're 13 minutes in. We could probably get to our topic now, I think. The people are probably like, God damn, are they ever going to talk about visions and goals? Or am I just going to listen to talk about tattoos and cheese?
Show each other tattoos while we're on a podcast.
Yeah, people are listening. They're like, what are they doing? I got a tattoo on my arm, folks. It's a plane flying out of my sleeve. So go on YouTube and watch. See, that's how we pitch this. Go watch on YouTube. You can see this plane flying out of my t-shirt sleeve.
Beautiful. There we go.
So let's get into this week's episode. And like I subtly mentioned in that last little bit, we're going to be talking about visions and goals. How we set our own goals, our thoughts on kind of setting goals, having a vision for where we want to go. Tyler, are you a big goal setter?
Yeah, I feel like I am, but I'm realizing I don't hit them. So it sucks. No, I do hit goals, but I think the ones that I strive for reaching like really big, I feel like I lack one part of it.
So give an example for people. What would be like a big one?
Yeah, making additional money. I wanted to pay off my student loans, I think, this year. Mm-hmm. And, I wrote it out, and then it's like, what am I doing to get it? And I think that's where I'm lacking is the process. And that's what I'm starting to do a little bit more is I'm missing the end part, but I'm more so focusing on the process instead of the goal. So it's like, maybe I want to pay off my student loans, but what's the process that I'm going to do to get me there? So I think that's the part that I lack. It's like, okay, I put that down, but what am I doing to actually get there? And I think that's what I need to fix on some of them. I think more so like the financial aspect, because I feel like that requires the more action. And there's other areas that I'm better at taking action in.
Yeah. And I have the same problem. I would say one of my goals for this year, and we talked about this way earlier in the year, was to make $250,000 in revenue in my business this year. And I'm not going to hit it unless some miracle happens within the next 2 months. But you forget, like at the beginning of the year, you try to reverse engineer it. Okay, $250K, what do you need per month? Okay, you need $25,000 a month. How are you going to get $25,000 a month? Okay, then you need 5 clients that are paying you $5,000 a month or whatever it might be. and then you try to reverse engineer it. And then as you go along in business, or the experience that I've had is that now I'm just stuck doing the thing every single day. And I forget that the goal is, okay, 250K. How do we get there? How do you take that step every single day to get to the 250K? And it's really switching your mind into thinking that way. But I don't think I've really mastered switching my mind to think that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I'm like trying to do more of is trying to find those high value tasks that need to get done. And if I get those done, that's moving the needle where I want to be going. And that's what I've been focusing a lot more on recently is what are my top like 5 tasks on the day that I need to get done. And if I get that done, accomplish the day, and that's getting me closer. And I think one thing that I often struggle with, especially with goal setting, is seeing the end. And it's not seeing how far I've come, because I know I struggled with this like basically within this past week. I was losing a lot of motivation, but a lot of the times when I look back and reflect and see how far I've actually come, I don't really realize how far I've actually come.
Yeah. And that's something I fall into the same trap. Is you're like, God, I missed my goal again. I didn't make 250K. It's like, okay, but you made 110 or whatever it might be. So it's like, that's more than you made last year. So you can still see the progress, but sometimes missing goals for me is like, shit, I failed. Where it's not really, you didn't fail. That's why you set big, ambitious goals, is so when you don't reach them, you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. It's better to what the CEO at the company I work at, he always likes to say it's better to aim for the stars and land on the moon.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're basically doing is, you're aiming way up here, and then if you do, you might not hit it, but you're going to, land a little bit lower. And if you had the other goal where it was like a mediocre goal that you're basically going to hit, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're not going to hit that other goal where you ended up. So
that's something I want to experience. I want to set a big, lofty, ambitious goal and fucking hit it one time. Would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be, maybe we got to get back into what we were talking about with the $1 million challenge.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of petered out. I'd be interested in getting back into that.
Yeah, I would be too. I was thinking about it because how we were talking about this on a couple episodes ago where I said next year I'm going to, do it. I'm going to do stuff. And then I was just thinking like, fuck that. I'm going to start doing it now. And I think that's something that I can start doing now. And I think that's like a good intro to, like me starting to do stuff. Like I might not have the plan, laid out perfectly, but the timing's never going to be perfect. It's going out there and just starting doing and, coming up with the plan along the way a little bit.
Yeah. You can't overanalyze the beginning. I know my sister, I've had this conversation with her where she wanted to start something like a YouTube channel and she wanted everything to be perfect. Everything has to be planned. This is how it's going to look. It's like, you got to just start doing it. You got to start doing stuff. And even if you don't hit your goals, going back to the goals thing, doing stuff every single day will eventually move you towards that goal. And really that's the goal at the end of the day, is to move closer to where you want to be. You might not hit it, but at least you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and you learn so much along the way. And it's funny when I look back at my YouTube videos, I'm like, oh my God, like even when I thought I was good and I look back at it, I'm like, holy shit, it was so bad.
Just
and like even right now, yeah, I know. Even like right now, I'm probably going to look back on it in a few months or maybe a year and be like, oh my God, why is it so bad? Like it's just constantly progressing. And that was actually one of my goals that I had the first year of with YouTube. I wanted to, I don't know if I set a goal. Maybe I did. I wanted to hit like 1,000 subs within the first year. And I actually did have the process goal, which was 1 YouTube video per week. And I did that. And, along the way, I got feedback and tried to improve my videos along the way. And like looking back, I'm like, oh my God, that was so bad. And like just my presence on camera it's improved so much. But along with the presence on camera, also my my equipment, my audio, my lighting and everything else has improved along with it. So it's like those repetitions add up over time. And even though I didn't have my goal of 1,000, I've improved so much over that year span. I'm not doing currently 1 video per week just because I know I can come up with excuses why, but I'm just not doing that anymore. But I've improved so much over time because I put in that effort. And I think that's a good thing with goal setting, you're going to be doing a lot more stuff than you might otherwise not.
This kind of goes to the YouTube thing. Do you, when you are creating these videos, kind of think to yourself, I could be better? Not be better, because the videos you think at the time are good, but I have this problem a lot of times when I'm filming YouTube videos. Like, I know how to make this video like really good. Like this talking head, I could add a bunch of B-roll. I could almost make it like a mini movie. But then I think I'm not putting that much energy into it. Do you ever think to yourself, this could be so much better if I would just allocate more energy towards it, but you just, kind of give it that medium effort?
I somewhat feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like I procrastinate a lot more because I want it to be perfect. I want it to, be as good as I can possibly make it. And then I get to a point and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to get to that point, but I feel like it's tough for me because I want to tell a story at the same time. And I feel like I might start taking away from the story if I just start putting in random clips. And with like my B-roll, I try to do as much as possible, but I feel like there might be a disconnection when I try and do it. So I feel like it's a lack of preparation when I go into those videos and I don't prepare it properly and plan out the B-roll, plan out the script, and plan out everything. I just kind of go with the script and then I work on the B-roll and then I try and find different spots where I can do it. And I feel like because I do want to make it more storytelling with the personal development side behind it. And I feel like I'm lacking in the story. So
yeah, I feel like I could hit my goals better. So I've had that same goal, 1,000 subs on YouTube. A couple different times I've told myself that. And
every year.
I think, pretty much. I think, and I'm at like 780. So it's like, it wouldn't be that hard to get there if I just try. But
yeah,
I think I spread myself too thin on some of my goals sometimes. So it's like, okay, I got 10 goals. I want to make 250K this year. I want to get 1,000 YouTube subs. I want to do this. I want to shoot a short film. I want to start a podcast. So it's all these. And I never take all of my energy and be like, okay, let's dive into this one goal. Let's hit this one goal. Have you ever thought to yourself, okay, maybe I should just allocate all my energy towards one goal, really focus on that instead of giving 15% of your energy to 10 different goals?
Yeah, I feel like this was like one of our first few episodes where we talked about starting a business, and instead of starting 7 businesses at once, you just choose one business and be the best at it. But I think your goal of hitting $250,000 could be an aspect of YouTube. So it's like that's one of the actions that you can take, one of the processes. It's like one YouTube video per week, because not only are you creating YouTube videos to get subscribers, you're becoming a better videographer. You're becoming better on camera. You're getting better or more brand awareness. So there's other reasons that the YouTube could affect you getting to 250K. And then there's other branches within that 250K. So maybe there's other areas like this short film, you win that $10,000 or whatever the prize money is. Mm-hmm. So I think I don't know. There's like different branches that they say that you can set your goals in, but I feel like with business, you typically stick with financial. There is probably a few other areas, but I feel like financial is probably one of the main ones that you often hear about with businesses. Because I want to hit this in revenue.
Yeah, and that's something where that was my one North Star goal this year. And everything under that, you have little tiny goals that add up to that, like you said. And it's funny that you can have the same side of my argument where it's like, okay, I shouldn't allocate all my energy towards these things because I need to allocate it towards making 250K. Well, then there's the other side of the argument where it's like, okay, but making the 250K, you have to allocate your energy to these things because that's going to get you there. So it kind of pulls from both directions. But yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. Now that we're having this conversation, I feel like I just need to work harder.
I think so too. No negotiating.
Yeah. Well, you sent me that video. That video is awesome. But there's a lot of times when I feel like I have to do so many things that I'm like, okay, this is good enough. Let's get it done. Let's get it out of the way. Where if I would just take not longer to do things because things start to build up, but I'm like, okay, instead of 2 hours into this YouTube video, let's put 5 hours into it. and then it's going to be that much better. Now you need to decide, does that really get you that much closer to the goal, putting in that extra effort? That's something you kind of have to figure out, that I have to figure out. But yeah, I mean, it's weird to look at that in business. It's like, where do you allocate your time to hit the goals you're trying to hit?
Yeah, it's trying to distinguish those highest priority tasks and highest, needle moving tasks. Stuff.
That's one thing I struggle with. It's like working in the business versus working on the business. Well, my high priority tasks are editing client videos, because once they're done being edited, they send me a check that I get paid. But how do you get you need to also put time away to get new clients so you can grow your business. So it's weird. It's a weird dynamic when you're just working and when you're by yourself in a business.
But could you outsource that? Because I feel like that's a lower priority task. Sure, it's part of you getting that check, but what if you hired someone to give you the rough draft of it? Then all you have to do is go through it, touch it up a little bit here and there, make sure it's to your liking, ship it off to the client. That just freed up, say, 2 to 6 hours of your time to spend on those YouTube videos, spend emailing clients, cold calling, doing whatever you need to do to get to that $250K.
I think my problem is, which sucks to say, but I think I'm worried about having that extra time. Because I think if I have the extra time, what the hell am I going to do? Am I good enough to take that extra time that I'm paying to have by outsourcing other things? Am I good enough to turn that extra time into more revenue or more whatever the goal is? So that's where it's a weird line that you cross in business, where it's like, okay, am I good enough to start doing the high priority tasks to grow the business? Or I don't know. And that's where it's, I need to have some internal talks. It's like, okay, should I start outsourcing it and then figure it out? But what if I'm sitting there for 20 hours a week and I'm trying to use that extra time, but I'm doing fuck all with it?
You were doing the cold emailing a bunch of people. I don't know how, I'm pretty sure you stopped that fairly quickly, but I feel like you got a few replies out of it. I'm not sure if it led to any clients, but I feel like if you do that over, 5-10 a day, that's going to add up over a week. That's 25 to 50 people that you just reached out to.
Yeah.
Over a course of a year. That's probably, I don't know. I don't want to do the math, but it's a lot more than 10.
I'm trying to think how many people I got responses from. One for sure.
And I feel like you didn't even do that for a while, but those tasks,
10 to 15 total.
Yeah, exactly. That's extremely low, and that's 10% response rate. Imagine you send 1,000 of them at a 10% response rate.
God damn, you're like my business therapist, Tyler.
Yeah, maybe we should just turn that into this. So we'll change the name to
business therapy.
Oh man, never mind. Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, but it was more so for the intro. It's not really meant for the middle of a podcast.
That's fine. You gotta add it and we'll just chop it up into the middle. Nah, it's too much editing. This is an organic podcast. We don't cut anything out.
Never.
Ever.
Yeah. So do you try to follow SMART goals? Because I know that's very common with people
is that the acronym?
Saying, yeah.
What's it like?
Do you?
Something attainable.
Yeah. I feel like there's several different ways that people say it.
No, I don't. I pretty much just write my shit on a piece of paper and say, all right, let's figure out how to do that.
But one thing that I will say, I'm trying to find it: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely.
Yeah.
And I think some of them are good, but I think one of the most important one is time frame, is like setting a deadline, because now that we're approaching the end of the year, this is when majority of the companies make majority of their revenue, because the end of Q4 is approaching and they got to hit the revenue goals. So what do? Everyone starts buckling down to try and hit the revenue goals. So this is when, I forget what the number was, but it was a pretty significant number. This is when companies make majority of their cash flow and money revenue.
Really? I didn't know that. I mean, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Or it's because they're retail companies and Christmas is coming up.
No, I think it's pretty, across the board.
Yeah. I want to think back on the 3 years in business that I've been doing this, on which quarters I've made the most money in. And the more I think about it, I feel like it is that Q4 and Q1.
I feel like Q1 might be good for you because a lot of businesses, maybe even Q4, they're coming to you because they're wanting additional marketing and they're wanting to create videos. So maybe they're trying to get that push in. Maybe this is like a potential marketing piece that you could use. It's like get those Q4 revenue goals in with a new video. And I feel like a lot of companies might come to you during that Q4 period because they're trying to hit it, or it's Q1 and they set these goals and, New Year's resolutions with the business, and they set these goals and they're like, okay, let's start, doing some video marketing. And then they come to you Q1. So I feel like Q4, Q1 might be good for you.
And I think Q1 helps a lot because businesses, larger size businesses, they have marketing budgets. So it's like, okay, we're going to spend $50,000 this year on marketing. Here's where we're going to allocate it. And they start thinking about that in Q4 and planning for it in Q1. Unless there's some companies, there's one that I worked with specifically that they must have been going by the fiscal year, which ended in must have been like August, because they were talking about the new budget in August. So their fiscal year must have started, September maybe. But I think a lot of businesses in January set those goals like, hey, this is what we want to do. This is how much we want to spend. And then that's kind of where I sneak my way into the meetings and say, hey, give me the whole budget.
I'm here for you.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting to look at things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd agree that maybe Q4, Q1, I'd be interested to go back and see, and I'll do that after this episode, and see what the revenue numbers look like based on the quarters every year.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear that. Maybe you can come back next episode and deliver those results.
I'll be back next episode, folks. Other than that, though, one other thing I want to talk about with vision and goals, and you mentioned it before, setting goals in a timely manner. You should have goals that are relatively soon, so within a year. Okay, let's make $250,000 this year. And you should also have goals that are maybe 10, 20 years, right? What do I want to be doing in 20 years? Well, the goal is to have a full service production agency with people under me, that kind of thing. And we're shooting, high quality ads. But how am I going to get there in the next 20 years? A 20-year time frame gives me a lot more wiggle room than a 1-year time frame. So I do think it's important to have goals that are shorter and then goals that are more long-term.
Yeah, it changes your game plan up a lot because when you have a longer time frame, you got a lot more flexibility on what you can do. Whereas, say you got a goal of making $1 million in a month compared to $1 million in 5 years, you're going to make drastically different game plans to get that $1 million,
Yeah.
Do you have like something like that you do with, I don't know if like you have a 10-year goal, or if it's like, I want to be a video production company with people under me, or if you have like a revenue goal.
Yeah. I think I don't think it's a revenue goal. I think it's a freedom of life goal. So one thing specifically that I am working on that's more of a long-term goal would be to, I don't want to call it a personal brand because I hate that, but all of these pieces of content that I'm making. So this podcast, for example, the Mind Up Business podcast, where I'm interviewing business owners to get their experience. All of the YouTube videos I'm creating where I'm teaching, the people that are watching how to do things. I want to eventually mush all of that into its own, whatever it is, unit, product, and be able to sell that, whether it's in a course or whether it's, and this is something I've been thinking about recently. It's like, okay, imagine there's all of these interviews and all of this stuff, and you were able to sell that to an institution or a high school or something, and they can learn from all this stuff. Now, you have to have some credibility behind that, but imagine there's a high school class that they just started their own video production class, and they need all this content. So, okay, you sell this piece, and it's you get to learn how to build out a rig. And obviously there's teachers for that too, but I don't know exactly how it would work, but it's an interesting dynamic to be able to sell all of that content as its own unit.
Isn't that all on YouTube?
Yes.
Haven't you already made it on there?
yes, but you would have to like package it together. So there'd also have to be pieces that you add to it where it's not on YouTube. So almost like an exclusive type thing. But I don't know. I haven't really fleshed out the details yet, Tyler. Okay, don't question me on this. All right? It's infancy.
I'm getting down to this
infancy.
business.
Infancy.
Okay. It seems like a course to me. You know, a lot of people are going the course route.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. There was one thing that I heard. This guy put everything on YouTube. It's all for free. No one watched it. And then he put it as a course and he charged money for it and everyone bought it. It's just like interesting in the psychology of people.
Yeah. The courses are interesting to me because I'm not at a point right now where I could ever do a course and feel good about selling it. I know there are people that I could help and teach, the people that were in my spot where I was at 3 years ago. But there are so many people I've learned from, like Buying Full-Time Filmmaker and these other programs where if someone wants to buy a course and learn from me, I would almost just say, hey, go to them. Their course is better. They know more than I do. But eventually it might get to the point where it's like, okay, I feel good about selling this or I can do this. But at the point right now, it's like, I don't know if I really want to sell a course.
I feel like at a certain point, you got to just, do it because that's the same mindset with like a business. It's like, there's only going to be one person that's the best,
Yeah.
So pretty much for you could say to any client that comes to you, hey, you could go to this videographer. He does better work,
That's true. There would almost
I
be
think
me or you.
You.
Okay, so I was gonna say there's almost a area you might be able to go down where you create all this content and stuff to have a back end to sell to your clients.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe it's like, hey, here's a mini course. It's 20 videos on, content creation.
It could just be a little upsell where it's like, hey, we'll make this video for you. And then we also have this course that you could buy after. And it's basically to help you create videos for your own company within your own, thing. And it's just like a little upsell.
Yeah. I don't actually.
And that's like a one-time thing that you could do,
And I wonder how you do it so you don't lose them as a client. Obviously, I don't think that would work because you're still providing value, but how you can do it enough where they learn the basics and can create the everyday content. And then when they need that bigger stuff, they bring you in to, okay, now do this big production.
Or you do like coaching / consulting.
Yeah. So many avenues to go down. That's what I was thinking the other day. It's like there's so many ways to make money.
There is.
And why can I just not make it all? That's what I'm looking to do.
I don't know, man. Jeff's taking it all.
I hear you. Goddamn Jeff. Send him to the moon. He's trying to go to space.
Going to
Freaking
Mars.
let him. Let him out.
Him
there.
and Elon.
But
I feel like we trailed off goals a little bit.
We did go a little bit, but that's what this podcast is about. We're just riffing. We're just going off.
Yeah. I feel like one thing that goals help you do is they help give you direction. And the reason I'm laughing is just because we got a little bit off direction on the podcast.
No direction. Yeah. Our goal is to get this podcast done with in the constraints that we've put around goals and vision. And we're just all outside.
Yeah. It's like the same thing with when you're building something, it's not a straight linear path up. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's kind of similar with this podcast. There's a lot of lefts and rights and back and forth.
Yeah, but that's what it's for. We're all going together. You guys are hearing exactly what we're thinking in our businesses on a weekly basis, what we're thinking about, new things that are happening, and it's fun for people. I think it's fun for us.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a brainstorm session for our own businesses to kick us in the ass and also give us ideas to implement.
Yeah, and I look at it as in 20 years from now, we can look back and be like, I wonder what we were doing in our business. It's almost like documenting, but we're not making videos out of it. It's just like, hey, it's just a conversation once a week.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
I like it.
So you got anything else on business goals and visions? Otherwise, we can get into our business topic of the week.
I think one thing, goals help you keep you accountable and they measure progress. We kind of did talk about like the gap of like your goals, like when you set the goals, the gap that you create and like looking back reflection. But accountability partners, I know that, helps me a lot. And also, meeting with someone like weekly. I used to do that with my current business partner. We used to meet when I was away at school, and I know like my next 1 to 3 days were the most productive I would be throughout the week because of that meeting. Do you have any accountability partners, or do you find any value in that? Do you typically try and reach out to accountability partners? What do you think?
You, buddy, you're my accountability partner. This conversation is exactly what you just explained. Maybe we should start filming these on Mondays, so then I'm good for the week instead of Friday's great, and then I freaking do fuck all Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, maybe that would help us out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like accountability partners are super important, because there's sometimes, if you don't have people in business that you can bounce ideas off of, or just talk to about what's going on, or share exciting news or shitty news, it's really difficult. When there's someone that's kind of in the same field, they're kind of working towards the same goal, then it's a lot easier to get up every day and be like, okay, I want to do this, because then next week we're going to talk about something. Okay, now I have a new idea. Now I can run with this. So yeah, I do think it's important, and it's nice having these conversations. And even when we're having text conversations or whatever it might be, those are very helpful to moving the business forward.
Yeah, I think accountability partners quite significantly help. And one thing that you'll often hear is like saying it to everyone, and I'm not a big fan of that. One thing, like I've kept my circle really small on who I tell my goals to, and there's one quote that I don't know if it's this quote or if it's something completely different, but it's, don't tell me what you're gonna do, show me what you're gonna do. And I think about that a lot. And it's like, I'm not going to go out and tell people what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try and go and build something, and then they'll be able to see it.
Yeah, I think about that actually a ton. I hate telling random people what's going on in my business. And it's funny because we are telling all of the internet. But like, I don't like talking to people at family get-togethers or at the bar or out at a grocery store or whatever it might be, and be like, oh, this week I got this new client that did this and this and this. I'd rather just build something than people are like, oh, damn, he's like doing his thing over there. Because I don't know. I don't want to overshare. You don't want to ever expose your cards, you could say. You don't want to share what your next move is or what your plan is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless it's inside of your small circle. All right, so let's get into this week's business idea. I guess we are calling it. I don't know what we're calling this. The business corner. Yeah. We need a theme song to lead us into it. We'll get one.
I like it.
I'll just sing it every time. That's a theme song. So Tyler, I failed us and didn't have a business idea because I wasn't prepared for this week's episode, but you've saved me. You have something on the docket. Let's hear it.
It's nothing groundbreaking. It's very common, but I think it's taken this. A lot of the greatest ideas is taking a product or service and making it better. And I think that's what the goal of this would be. The only issue is getting it accredited, well known. And that is basically creating a course that students can go to where they can learn the profession, learn the industry, and they can become professionals in it. And there's no time frame on it. We all learn at different paces. We all learn different ways. And I think creating something where someone learns that industry, that profession, learns real, what's it called? Just like within that business or within that, industry. And the main and only issue would be getting it accredited, because so basically what it is a school, and it's trying to create like a better version of it. And I thought about this before, where getting industry professionals to teach it instead. So it's like getting
instead of people that go to school to teach it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's like getting a prolific marketer, getting an extremely good video editor or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's getting these professionals instead of just getting someone that learned how to teach. And the only issue is getting it accredited, because one thing that a lot of businesses will see. They'll see, oh, this guy went to Harvard, this guy went to Yale, and that makes that person better. If they say they have this certificate or whatever, they graduated from this program that we create, no one really knows what it is. So it's just getting that brand awareness.
So it's
would
almost
be the main issue.
So it's almost like, which I don't think is going to be a huge issue, and let me tell you why. So it's almost like masterclass, but in person in a school format.
Yeah, sure.
So like if you're going to learn about directing, Martin Scorsese is there teaching you how to direct.
That'd be wild.
Right? So
that'd be expensive.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
And that's where, you'd have to, I don't know if you're getting Scorsese, that'd be like the Harvard of all directing courses. But you're getting these people that have real world experience, and they've worked through it forever. They're teaching you how to do things hands-on. So it's almost like a trade school for non-trades.
Yeah.
And why I don't think it's going to be a huge problem if it's accredited, you'd have to have it somewhat vouched for. But if you just hear names that are in the industry like this, it'll almost sell itself. Now you have to get people that are somewhat worth a shit. You can't have some low level director. I can't be the director teaching in this school. You know what I mean? But I think just even hearing, like, even if Masterclass was to do this and do like these live things, and you have a certificate from Masterclass, I think that might have some power.
I think so too. I think, man, this happens way too often.
What?
Just me going blank,
I did that earlier and I found it somehow. I was like,
did you?
I kept talking and I was like, I'm going to find it. And I found it.
Just keep reaching.
Yeah. But I mean, I do like the idea. It's just, how would you build it? How would you sell it? You'd have to have so much upfront capital, I think.
Yeah. Or just like, probably investors or whatever, or just being able to, not even that, maybe it's just finding these industry professionals and it's saying, hey, we have this idea and we'd love if you taught it, and then we'll give you X% of the business.
And it's almost, I almost think that it's not specifically industries where you need, like, it's almost can't be industries where you need to go to school for it. Like, you can't have accountants doing this. But yeah, so you can't have things that you need to go to school for, like a doctor or an accountant or whatever, because those you actually need to study. You need to read books and things. So I feel like this is more of like a hands-on thing, whether it's, directing or it's painting or it's, pottery, something like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's more hands-on thing.
I feel like those are more in school. I feel like we're too textbooky. Like, I've never touched a textbook at work. And the one thing that I was going to say that I completely forgot about, but I remember now, is I'm hearing what other people are learning at other schools. And I'm like, not to bash the school I went to, but fuck, I didn't learn shit. It's like...
Yeah. So you thinking people at other schools are learning more?
I think it depends on the school you go to. A lot of them give you like real world examples or type of assignments. And I feel like I just took the wrong classes, but I don't know. Like, maybe we can blame the 2 months of COVID on it, but I did not, like, people are talking about like some of the stuff they did in like marketing classes. I'm like, I did not learn a single thing from school. Yeah. Like, the most I learned was the 2 weeks I tried to create my own website. And during those 2 weeks, I learned so much. I learned how to create a website. I learned about image optimization. I learned about headings. I learned about SEO. I learned about so much stuff in those 2 weeks, probably more than I learned in that whole 4 years of schooling.
And it's all by doing.
A marketing degree. Exactly. I think that's maybe a good topic to discuss on podcasting, but I think that's one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs are really good at, is going out and, doing it and learning. And I think that's one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah. The school of doing, I think, is it's a good name for this business we're running into. It maybe has some kinks. We could work them out, but yeah, I mean,
all of our ideas so far do, but it's a starting process.
Yeah. They're all rough. We're just throwing business ideas at you guys. Okay. All you people that are like, I don't know what to start, we're giving you gold here.
Absolute gold.
I don't know what
You know,
else
it's
to
getting
tell you, man.
it's getting the brain flowing a little bit to spark some ideas for ourselves and, you know, maybe our other people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still with the career fair, with the hands-on career fair. Maybe we can mix that into the master class, the school of doing. But yeah, we're spitting up gold here. I can't imagine why people would ever turn this off.
I can't imagine either. This is gold.
Yeah, but I mean, once we have some investors, we can run with that idea. I do like it though, because I've always been a hands-on guy. I learn more being hands-on. And I think there are fields where you go to school and you read from a textbook. And it's like, okay, cool. I took the test, I passed the test. Now what? Where it's better to just go out there and do something. It's maybe not even a pass fail thing. It's like, hey, just here, try it. Now you have experience with this.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I haven't taken a test since I've started working either. So
yeah, me neither. I probably never will.
I don't got to memorize anything. I have Google. You're what?
Not even my drone test.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're never gonna do that.
No, I'm just kidding. I have it somewhere.
Sure.
It's expired.
I feel like I still have mine. Mine's probably expired now too, though.
I'm just you when I fly my drone.
Yeah.
Who did the drone work on this part? Tyler Sinden, actually. Like, Tyler, send me your certificate, please.
I got you.
Yeah. But no, I like that business idea. I promise to have one next week. I promise.
Okay. I'll hold you to it.
Cool.
Accountability partners.
There it is. Tyler, you got anything else for this episode? I think we're at about an hour here.
Yeah. Oh, man. I completely forgot to. I was going to say what I was going to say at the start. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, yeah, like I was saying, I've been feeling like shitty and not feeling like I want to do anything, not seeing like the end. Yep. And last night I was feeling that same way. I was like, if I don't take a nap right now, I did what you said that you sometimes do. I was like, if I don't take a nap right now, I'm going to be on my phone the rest of the night and I'm not going to do anything. So I ended up taking a nap. It was around 7 o'clock. Woke up an hour later and I was up till past midnight working on shit and I got shit done. So
wow, Tyler up past midnight. What the hell?
And then I woke up at 4, man.
Yeah.
I don't stop.
Just crushing it. And then you just took some creatine, went piss for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So
things. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of sucked ass this week. I've been doing my basement remodel so I can get my buddy to move in. But that's kind of the passive income. That kind of led my mind into like, dang, he's going to pay me money just to live here. And it's free money for me because I live here too. So that's kind of been thinking in my head, how can I make more passive income? But it's maybe something we can talk about on a future episode when we actually have some passive income coming in.
Business idea, rentals. No one's ever done it before.
Have you guys heard of renting a property, a room? That shit's crazy, man. I might get a whole building and have like 100 rooms in it. Rent them all out.
Rent it out?
100
That's
people.
A genius idea.
I'm going to call it an apartment.
Jeez. That's got a ring to it.
Yeah, it does. I've been thinking about it for quite some time. So, all right, Tyler, let's wrap this episode. You good to go?
I'm great.
That's episode 9 of The Midnight Entrepreneur. If you have any questions you'd like us to cover or answer, you can email it to us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. If you found value in this content or found entertainment, share this with your friends. If you really like the show, leave a rating and a review. It really helps us get up in the algorithm. Talk to you guys next week for another episode of The Midnight Entrepreneur.